Welcome back, Kindness Nation. Your oxytocin update begins now.
There we go.
Welcome back to the Kindness Chronicles, where once again, we hope to inject the world with a dose of the Minnesota kindness that it desperately needs. We're back. We took a week off.
Yeah.
It was one heck of a week.
Yeah, it was.
Well, should we just really quickly break it down?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
My son got married. I don't have any money left. It was quite an adventure. It was a beautiful affair.
Yeah, you got good weather, too.
The weather was good. I sweat a lot.
Sure.
Even if it was 35 degrees, I'd be a sweaty mess. So I brought 3 changes of clothing. So the first one, our guest is listening into us. So do we want to bring him into this, or should I just finish my story?
Just tell your story.
Yeah, it's
So
okay.
I officiated the wedding, as I think you're aware. Some of you are aware.
Yeah, you talked about it a little bit.
And, everybody had the over-under on how many outfits I would have to go through because of my
Really?
perspiration problem.
Okay.
At 3, and that was the number that I hit. I had 3 different outfits on. The first one.
So you had wardrobe changes.
Well, I had
basically.
wardrobe change. That's how Conan O'Brien does
Right.
it. When he does a show.
Showbiz dad.
But yeah, it was lovely. It was kind of hot for me.
It was a
And
little hot.
I officiated in a black tux. I looked fantastic for about 3 seconds.
yeah.
And then I became a sweaty
Photos.
mess. But here's the funny part of the whole story. So I decide I'm gonna go out to my car, and there's nobody around. So I'm just gonna strip down and I'm
Sure.
gonna change into outfit number 2. And all of a sudden, a school bus comes driving up. Thank God there were no children on the school
gonna
bus,
say,
but I'm
screaming
standing
or no?
there in my drawers, topless, tarps off.
You went into your drawer. You dropped your pants,
No,
too?
yes.
Wow.
Because I sweat right through them.
Your pants, too?
I had a problem. It
All right,
was
well,
very
I guess we
sweaty.
don't
We're
wanna
not
hear
going to
all
talk
about
about it. But
the
anyways,
details.
it was a lovely event. It couldn't have been better. It was
Good.
just perfect.
That's so cool.
And we had the groom's dinner, and your boy Briggsy came and sang.
My
And what a
cousin Briggsy.
great guy.
Robert Briggs.
And you read your poem?
With many poems. There are lots of poems.
Lots of poems.
Nah, it's a couple poems.
Okay.
I love it.
But no, it was very fun. So thank you for. And then, where were you, Jeff?
I was in the East Coast,
Where specifically?
Nantucket.
Oh, good for you.
It was pretty awesome, actually. Yeah.
Nantucket. Oh, with all the beautiful. Were there influencers there?
There were signs that
Sure.
said no influencers allowed in the shops, which was pretty funny.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's been taken over by influencers.
It's
Wow.
crazy. But
they're not allowed places. That's really funny.
it is. I think it is the largest concentration of billionaires in the United States. 10% or so.
Oh my gosh.
reside there. So yeah, it
As
was
they
pretty
would.
awesome. Not that we're pretty much steerage when it comes to the class side, but it was really fun. My daughter Kate lives out in Boston, and she had a contact in a Airbnb situation, so we were able to enjoy that. And
Well, I traveled too, boys.
Oh, that's right.
that's right.
I was in Pennsylvania for work, but then I went to Chicago with my family.
For a concert.
The 6 of us, the Foo Fighters,
Oh, wow.
at Soldier Field.
so awesome.
And who
It
was
was
on the
kick-ass.
drums?
A guy I don't know who he was.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was great. He actually played guitar for a moment too.
Oh, wow.
Super talented guy. The band was amazing. I mean, it ended with fireworks. It was like a 3-hour show. It was fantastic.
Magical.
We walked a lot, but it was so great night for my family. and me.
Nothing better than
Well,
Dave
we have a
Grohl.
guest with us, so we
Yes.
should probably get to our guest.
This guest, we've been waiting to talk to him for quite a while. So, Jeff, tell us about our guest today.
All right. Well, today on the Kindness Chronicles, we're talking about something that has the power to move us, to challenge us, sometimes even reveal something about ourselves. And I'm talking about stories. Our guest, Kevin Harris, believes that the best stories do more than entertain us. They can awaken something inside us, something universal that speaks to where we are in our own lives. Through his Meaning on the Screen YouTube channel, Kevin takes a deeper look at the movies we love, exploring the themes, symbols, and hidden truths that sometimes are easy to miss. Because, as Kevin puts it, a movie may appear to be about a baseball field, an alien, or a group of students at an elite school, but underneath the surface, it may really be about faith, friendship, sacrifice, courage, fear, or the relationships that shape who we become. And perhaps most fascinating of all, Kevin believes that our understanding why a story resonates with us can help us better understand ourselves. Today, we're going to explore meaning on the screen and maybe even discover a little meaning in ourselves along the way. Please help me welcome, guys, to the Kindness Chronicles podcast, master storyteller and successful YouTuber, Kevin Harris.
Wow, what an intro.
That's a big intro.
Yeah. You know what you almost got there, Jeff?
I got to live up to it. Wow.
Yeah. Jeff almost got is this a long intro?
Yeah.
Kevin, whenever
No, that's
somebody
cool.
goes on and on, we give it the old, is this a long story?
You got to watch out.
Yeah,
but
sorry,
Kevin's
be
deserving
careful.
of it.
Welcome, Kevin.
Let's get to know Kevin a little bit. So you guys probably have a lot of questions.
Well, my first question is, where do we find you? And if you say in your living room, I'm going to be very upset. Are you in the United States? We could narrow it down from there.
Yes, they're getting warmer. I'm in southern Utah, in St. George, Utah. So it's right in the bottom corner. It's considered the greater Las Vegas area, actually. So I'm kind of near Zion National Park and all the red dirt and all that kind of stuff.
Speaking
so
of getting warmer.
it's
Beautiful.
hot
Yeah.
and dry here.
Yeah, holy smokes.
Woo.
There's I saw something today that, when I was watching the Today Show, they were saying that the heat index in Las Vegas today was going to be something like 116. Oh. So I'm not built for that kind of weather, as we've already discussed.
Yeah, we've established that. Okay, so Kevin, we have now seen your show and some of your stuff, but
And just to be clear, it's Meaning on the Screen is the
Meaning on the
name
Screen.
of the site that
Correct,
you
yes.
have. And
I just wanted to know, Jeff, I'm sure you have a whole list of
We have a
questions
plan,
we
but
have.
you go ahead. Just get to know Kevin a little bit.
I just wanted to know
for our audience.
your whole basis revolves around movies, and I know your backstory a little bit, and you're going to talk about it. But movies, are you still a huge movie fan? Are you seeing new movies all the time? I know you go into older movies all the time, and you find great meaning in them, and we'll hear all about it. Are you a movie fan overall? Do you see movies now, and what's one of your favorite new movies right now?
Yes, I try to keep up with all the movies. I'm a little bit more selective about them now, but I recently saw a Spider-Man movie and The Odyssey, some of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
I got to go to the theater, which I enjoy actually going to the theater if possible. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I still enjoy movies, and I always have, but for some reason, the movies that do better on my channel are the ones that are a little bit older. So
Right.
whenever I do one of the newer ones, they don't seem to do as well. So I kind of wait a little while, and then I'll
Sometimes they
talk about it later.
They got to sink into our
Pop
culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our zeitgeist, as it may be.
That's a good. There you go.
Zeitgeist.
You like
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
So the when did you start the channel, and what was the impetus behind starting it?
Well, it's been going now for about 10 years. And, for a long time, it was just kind of me and my buddies watching it. But it started, well, I don't know, my whole life, I've been really moved by movies. Like a lot of people just kind of watch the movie and move on. But for me, it would stick with me and just sort of affect me for days, especially when I was a little kid. And I didn't really understand why. And so I've always been trying to figure out what was going on with these movies. Why was it, affecting me so much? And it really wasn't until I got into college and took a couple of film classes where I was kind of given some language and shown some books and things, where it started to make sense. And I started being able to put words to it. And so then I started watching other people's YouTube channels, and I was just kind of like, had my own opinions and wanted to share my own stuff. And so eventually I just started trying to do my own, but I was actually quite scared for quite a while to actually start. That's part of my story, was just how much fear that I had. And it actually took me years to post my very first video. But once I did, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of this episode, Kevin and I talked a little about maybe anchoring it in a movie that we all love. And there's one that's pretty special, and I don't know if you can recognize the soundtrack, but let me just read this little intro, and then and then we'll go from there to learn a little bit more about his channel. So I love
Is it a long intro?
A little bit. It's a little, but just
Okay.
humor me here because I love how films can transport us, especially through their soundtracks. So as we get to know Kevin, let's do a little method acting, John. Close your eyes and imagine you're standing in a field in a perfect summer day. The sun is out.
I'm hot.
The corn is gently moving
Sweating.
in the breeze, and you've got nowhere to go. It's just you, the field, and maybe a voice.
If you build it, he will come.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Let's try it one more time.
Ease his pain.
All right. So
I just wet myself.
is it dramatic enough for
Kind
you?
of creepy as well as
it
dramatic.
is.
Kevin Costner, Ray Kinsella in this movie heard voices. Some might say it's the Holy Spirit talking to him. You know, we all have maybe different callings, and some people might be more in tuned than others to that. Kevin, tell us about the first movie that you saw where you started going, wow, I that really affected me. And then maybe where you started seeing how it affects you differently than most people that see movies.
When I was a little kid, I saw E.T. on the screen, and that really affected me.
Elliot.
I'm keeping him.
I really related with the boy Elliot in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
He won't hurt you, Gertie.
Actually, I got in trouble for quoting Elliot and insulting my brother by calling him penis breath.
Jesus.
Classic 80s.
But
Were you the younger brother?
yeah, I'm the youngest, and so yeah. So anyway, E.T. was cool for me because it was like a family, and like the youngest brother. Well, I guess Elliot's not the youngest, but he's kind of ignored by the parents a little bit.
He's the middle child. Yeah, he's a middle kid.
Yeah, and they have this alien living in their house, and nobody even notices it, and so it's kind of, you relate to that as a kid, like things are going on, but like the parents are kind of in their own different world, and so that really resonated with me when I was a kid. And it was just, I think it was a lot of John Williams' score also, like it was just really powerful, and it just stuck with me. And I just remember like the ending scene and just feeling like emotional and not knowing why, but that it's interesting. It's the power of movies. Like you can fall in love with a weird little alien, and it makes you cry.
So tell us where you grew up, because Truman Burbank, who was in your video essay on, help me out, what was the name of it?
Truman Show.
The Truman Show. Tell us what about Truman Burbank and you have in common.
Yeah, Jim Carrey and the Truman Show. I actually grew up in Burbank, California. Beautiful downtown Burbank, as Johnny Carson would call it.
Yes.
And it was surrounded by studios and the movies. And so movies and TV shows were just kind of part of my life. Like a block away from my house, there was an auto body shop. And if you peeked through the fence, you could actually see the Knight Rider car and the Dukes of Hazzard car.
No
Or
way.
a couple of each being repaired. Our house was in the background in an episode of Wonder Woman.
Wow.
I was an extra background person in the original The Wonder Years TV show, and so that was just kind of my life. Like I'd be walking to art lessons, and the road would be blocked off because they were filming on a street, and they had it all watered down, and fake police cars and ambulances and stuff in there, and just had to go around it. And so
Wow, what a magic world. That would have been the greatest. I was all about TV. We're probably around the same age. That would have been quite fantastic and exciting. So I can't imagine that.
yeah. So when I watched movies, I actually kind of just looked for things that I recognized, because like
Wow.
in the beginning of the original Back to the Future movie, Marty comes out of Doc's lab, and they go past a Burger King, and that was our Burger King.
Oh,
And so it was just kind of normal for me to be like, oh yeah, I've been there, and I recognize that place. And so the movies and reality just kind of blended a lot.
Yeah,
in my
that
life.
makes
And
sense.
so
You know, there's another YouTube channel where a guy goes to the place where certain things were filmed, and it's super fun
Yeah.
to see. You know, like where the Brady Bunch house was, is,
Yes.
you know, kind of the classic example. But to be actually living as a human being on the set of many different shows. That had to have been wild.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And Kevin, you got a video camera and we're making movies. And tell us about just sort of the trajectory as you went through life and then went into college and what you wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I grew up making movies with my friends and siblings, and that's just kind of what I lived for, what I thought about. And I would go to the library and find any books that I could on Star Wars or any behind the scenes kind of things. And so I always knew that I wanted to be in the movie industry somehow, or the theme park industry, because I was also big around there. Both are kind of like creating their own worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was what I always imagined I would do. But the rug was pulled out from underneath me a little bit when my family decided to move away from California. And I was not very happy about that, moving to Utah, which Utah was, in my mind, it was not quite as cool as California and Burbank and all the studios and everything. And so that was hard for me.
How old were you?
Yeah, what age?
How old were you at that time of that
I was
move?
about 12.
Okay.
I think it was 12.
Oh, that's tough.
And so, yeah, that's kind of like a hard age where you have your friends and everything. But
Yeah.
so it took me a while to adjust. And I was always like talking about California, probably annoying everybody because
Mhm.
I just thought California was so cool. But eventually and as I said before, I got into a film class in college and started learning about movie making. And so then I had a really good instructor, Dennis Lisenby, who kind of opened my eyes to a lot of different things. And I resonated with him, and he kind of changed my life. And I've been thinking about movie structure ever since. And the power of YouTube, I'm able to, kind of create videos and talk about movies, even though I'm not like working for a film studio or anything like I originally imagined.
Yeah. So, Kevin, what I kind of recognize in what you do, because I took film class in college and I loved it. It was one of my favorite classes. A lot of my friends said it was the hardest class, but you have to you have to watch a movie and then decide what the theme is. You have to kind of translate the translate the film. It's kind of what you're doing. But I would say you're tapping into, like, you're kind of a writer as well, because you are really finding story themes. It's not just the filmmaking, it's the structure and the basis of the entire film and how it's so relatable. You're breaking it down in a way that's like a writer. I think you're sort of bridging some worlds there.
And can I add to
Thank
that?
you.
One of the things that I was moved by watching your videos, in addition to being a writer, you're almost like a psychologist a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the opportunity to think about these movies in the way that, it truly, and maybe it's your voice. Seriously, I think that there's something about the cadence in your voice.
It's very authentic.
It's very authentic.
Yeah.
And
there's psychology. There's a bit of a healing about it. It's like getting to know yourself, and you're seeing yourself in these lessons in the films. And
and it also kind of makes you feel bad about yourself, because I look at movies on a very shallow level. I do, but
most people do. But the good ones,
no. But
hold up.
here's when he started talking about these different things. I started thinking about movies like School Ties. You ever seen the movie School Ties?
Yep, Brendan Fraser.
I think that I saw something in School Ties that your average person might have missed.
Matt Damon was in that.
Matt Damon was the jerk.
Brendan
in that.
Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. Yeah, but anyway, I digress. I just I find your approach very soothing, and in the spirit of the Kindness Chronicles, and the need for oxytocin that we all have. I feel like your channel is a place where people can go to just sort of get away from it and kind of get absorbed into the meaning behind the movie.
He does bridge a lot of stuff. We talk about movies all the time and cool things and oxytocin inducing films, which give you that feeling, that that love feeling or that friendship feeling, whatever. you tap into that perfectly.
Yeah, and Jeff, you've got a plan for this show, so why don't you get us back on track?
So I was just the different voices that Ray Kinsella got in Field of Dreams. It was really 3 different voices, and I thought that would be a nice anchor for this this episode. So to tee up my next question, let me show a clip here. So he's getting these messages. The first one was to build the field. And now he's on his journey. He's listened to it. There's, of course, the pressure of bills and finances and, a young family that he's got. And he's still following this voice. Thank goodness that his wife was supportive. But Kevin, you have a video essay specific on Field of Dreams and how it affected you. I think it came out about a year ago. I don't know if you want to comment on that. And then I'll just add, one of the things you said in your trailer for your video essay is movies have the power to change us, and they make us look at the world in a new way. And maybe they remind us that there are things in the universe we don't fully understand, things that are bigger than us. So why don't I let you talk about Field of Dreams and your journey?
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. I think I saw Field of Dreams when I was like 11 or 12 years old, and still pretty, immature and not able to fully grasp what it was all about. And to me, it was my lesson that I took from it was probably a little bit wrong or innocent. It was just that, if you listen to what God says, then you won't have any problems and everything will work out for you, which is not true. And so as I got older, in the movie, The Husband and Wife, the husband is more like me, where he, wants to do kind of crazy things that don't make sense. And the wife is like, how do we pay the bills? Like, that's awesome that you see some deep meaning in Dumb and Dumber, but how are we going to pay the bills and how are we going to, keep the lights on, sort of thing. And so I related a lot to that. And eventually, as they do in the movie, we kind of had to come together, and we're still working on this, but I had to realize that, believing in miracles and God and all that kind of stuff doesn't mean that you still don't have to sacrifice and put in work, and you still don't have to use spreadsheets and do all that kind of stuff. And she had to kind of come more towards not trying to do everything herself. And so that really resonated with me. Also, the relationship with the father, I think a lot of it has to do with the father and the son relationship. My father is quite opposite from me. And so it hasn't always been the smoothest relationship, but there's been times where he has said that he believed in me, that I could do things, and that has really, made a big difference. And so in this movie, Kevin Costner's character has to go and serve other people, and in the process, he learns, about himself, and he becomes less selfish. And then eventually, building this baseball diamond is like he's building space to serve other people, and he's building space ultimately for his father and for the reconciliation that they need between each other. And so there's just a lot of things in there that kind of resonated with me, and it affected me a lot. Kind of in the beginning, it was kind of skewed my ideas a little bit, but eventually coming back to it, I realized how awesome this movie is. It's a really strange little movie. I mean, it's about baseball and it's about ghosts and different things, but at the same time, it's a powerful message that resonates with a lot of people.
I heard, I don't know if it was your video essay or it might have been that baseball sort of serves as this portal for the underlying story to bring time and space together, where, basically it's almost like heaven and earth are together in various points through the process. And you don't really understand the reconciliation story until the very end. And that's why most men can't get through the end without crying. It's got a pretty powerful, it's a simple movie, but it's a powerful reaction. But one of the questions, and I love this scene because Timothy Busfield's character, his name is Mark. He's the brother-in-law who's foreclosing on their farm because they're not making their payments because he plowed half his field under doing the baseball diamond. He can't see these guys. He's oblivious to what's happening, and there are certain people that see this stuff and other people that don't. And I wanted to ask, because in one of your video essays, you said that you walked out with some of your college buddies and saw a whole nother perspective of, "Oh, brother, where art thou?" for example. And some of your buddies didn't get it, and you had to explain it to them.
Yes. Yeah. So the first time I watched "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" was in college with some friends. And this was not long after I had been learning all these things from my college professor and reading up on all this film structure and different things. And so my mind was just like exploding and going crazy. And I was just seeing all these symbols and all this stuff in there. And so we walked out to the hall, the foyer, whatever. And one of the guys that was with me was like, "Well, that was dumb." And I just like turned on him and was like, "No, you don't get it. You don't see it." And I just kind of started spewing out all this information and telling him all these things that I was like, they were kind of half formed in my mind. I hadn't even figured it all out yet, but just all these things that I was seeing. And I just kind of went off, and everybody in our group kind of gathered around me and just kind of watched me spew this information out. And at the end, the guy was like, "Well, I didn't see any of that." And
yeah.
I was like,
So
okay.
are you still friends with this guy? You know, you are
no.
mansplaining to your buddies what's going on in the movie.
I can relate, Kevin, because I'm the same way. I might not be as perceptive as you are, especially with the Coens right away, but I know there's when I'm watching a Coens movie, I know there's something more. I'm like, this is really good. I need to watch this a little bit more because they are some of my favorite directors, because they are impeccable, and there's a purpose to every word that's said, every shot, everything you see. It's very important. But yeah, you're very astute, and you sound like you've been like that since you've been a kid, and you've sort of had time to make sense of what you're seeing all the time. But that is the case with me with a lot of films too. Some people just, I'm kind of critical, but I when I like something, I really like it, and I can appreciate more deeply about how it was made and why it was made in some of the sense similar to what Kevin does. But yeah, some people just, they go, "Wow, that was kind of dumb. I don't know. I didn't get it." Like,
So can let's just do an experiment here. I'd like to go back to Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
It's a movie that I would imagine everybody has seen that's listening to this. If you haven't, you should drop everything and go see the movie. The Minnesota Twins just played on the field at Dyersville, and coincidentally, I was in Chisholm a couple of weeks ago, and there's a huge mural of Moonlight Graham on one of the buildings in downtown Chisholm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very cool.
That's awesome.
But Dyersville is now it is the location where this was filmed, and they're going to have a Northwoods League team.
Okay.
That's going to be playing out of that field. That's me just showing you that I have some useless
stuff.
information.
You've been around. Yeah.
That's the actual field in Dyersville.
Oh, beautiful.
I was there 2 summers ago.
But
And
the Twins just played there.
That's
They
beautiful.
didn't play well. It was terrible. But can you give us a breakdown of some of the major themes that you saw in the movie Field of Dreams, just to see if it connects with us?
Okay. Field of Dreams. So yeah, like you said before, the field that he makes is basically sacred space. He is marking off sacred space where heaven and earth can overlap. And in that space, of course, these players can come back and they get to experience something that they were not allowed to do because they were banned, Shoeless Joe Jackson and the other players. And so they get to do something that they needed. And Kevin Costner's character helps Terrence Mann and Moonlight Graham to do things that they wanted to do. And so he's kind of going around and giving people space. It's about relationships, really.
And the field represents a place that they all love.
Along those lines, Ray Liotta, says to me, is this heaven? And Kevin Costner kind of chokes up and laughs and said, it's Iowa. And he's, I could have swore it was heaven.
Yeah.
And I mean, that to me was one of the, kind of those moments, like I actually recognized what was going on there. Can I just go back to the scene that you showed of Timothy Busfield walking across the field while everybody else was playing? I always marveled at, I wonder how many times it took for them to film that, because the timing of it was so, I mean, he almost gets hit by the baseball. And based on Timothy Busfeld's latest news stories, it's too bad that he didn't get hit with the baseball, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
You know that he's married, or it was married to
Laura
Half
Ingalls.
Pint, Little Half Pint.
Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Melissa Gilbert. See, I know stuff.
Because you get People Magazine.
Because I know stuff. I get People Magazine.
So yeah, this is a perfect example. So I remember seeing the movie in the 90s, whenever it came out, early 90s, right?
89.
89, okay. I remember seeing it, and I remember it being very spiritual and very, pretty a cool movie. Didn't fully understand. I thought it was kind of about, middle-aged guy trying to figure out connection with his dad. But this is why Kevin's site is or his videos are so cool, because it's just like taking that film class. It makes you go, oh yeah, that's it. That's what the whole thing was really about. That's what I like about it. That's exactly what he does through his. And I
have to, if you'll indulge me, and yes, this might be a bit of a long story. I have a special feeling for this movie specifically because back probably 15 years ago, actually it's probably closer to 18 years ago, a guy that was a very good friend of mine who lived right here in our community, Pat Brandt, was diagnosed with cancer. And Pat got sick real quickly, and he and I used to go, and we'd go to Rudy's for lunch, usually like on a Tuesday, and we would pretend to be gay Germans. We would use this gay German accent.
Great. Let's dive into that a little more.
It's honestly, and he was one of the funniest, most wonderful guys that you could possibly imagine. And I think the waitresses actually thought that we were gay Germans. But anyway, he. We talked about the fact that Field of Dreams at the time in my mind was my favorite movie because I had little boys and, that scene.
You guys are a baseball family too.
Huge baseball family. And as his cancer became terminal, I'll never forget that he said, do me a favor. And Pat was a really talented baseball player, and he had two little boys, one that was probably 4 and one that was just an infant at the time. He said, do me a favor, don't ever deny playing catch with one of your boys because I'm not going to be able to do that. Ooh. And every time my kids would say, hey, Dad, let's go play catch, I don't care how tired I was, how crabby I was. Yep. I always thought about Pat, and it's one of those things, like I feel like
can't even explain why it's so important. It matters.
It was incredible. And
it's yet another unspecific meaning just for you when that scene happens at the end.
Oh my God.
I feel like it also gave a lot of weight and spiritual meaning to the game. It kind of cemented it. If it wasn't there,
totally,
it cemented it for our generation. Like, oh wow, there's something going on more
and
here with
baseball. Major
League
Baseball has done a wonderful job with those games down in Dyersville. Did you happen to see the game?
No, I just saw some video that Jeff sent us about
the
Roger, recap.
Roger Clemens and his son, coming out of the field, and what's Cody Clemens, who plays for the Twins, saying to his dad, the should-be Hall of Famer Roger Clemens, how about a catch?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Just brilliant.
The fact that the field is still there is pretty amazing. That shows you how much of an impact that movie had on people, is the fact that it's still there and it still means something. Just all the people that would gather there for that.
65,000 visitors a year.
Well, and Kevin, growing up in Burbank, you saw sets came up and sets went away. This is something that was built and it stayed. That's so cool. That it really was there, and they really built it. Now, they could make it look like AI, and they'd never have to make it. So
it's not quite as charming as it was in the movie because you got to have stands for 8,000 people.
Oh, really? They do now?
They have stands for 8,000 people.
They have a merchandise barn that they've converted and stuff.
Somebody's making cash on it, but it doesn't matter. It's a cool concept.
Right.
Don't they have don't they have multiple fields there? Like I thought
They
they had
do.
the original field and they've built some other ones next
It's
to it.
true. The major league field is just on the other side of the corn.
Okay.
The movie set is pretty pristine. It does have some of that tourist stuff, but it still looks beautiful. And the major
It's
league,
kind of like a little
ball
church,
field
a
is-
baseball church kind of.
it is.
Yeah.
So
It is.
if we were to find movies, so this is the Kindness Chronicles. Are there, if you could recommend 3 or 4 movies that would give you the feeling that we all aspire to get this, oxytocin dose because of the kindness that is shown. Are there movies that come to mind that, might be in that space?
Well, I'll tell you the movies that have done the best on my channel, and I think it's because of that reason. Castaway is a huge one.
Yes.
that a lot of people love,
Love that one.
and my brain just
But while
Lost
you're
it.
thinking of that, let me speak to the Castaway. I watched that essay that you put, the video essay that you put out,
too.
and the importance of connection and relationships, and the fact that his best friend became Wilson this ball, and when when he escapes from the island, so to speak, and he loses Wilson. That's one of the most,
Or how about how he kept calling the other pilot by the wrong name, and
Yeah.
only when he pulled his dead body up on shore and looked in his wallet did he see that I've been calling him the wrong name the whole time.
Yeah.
He was so time driven.
Yeah, time.
He missed the whole
As
point
Kevin-
of human
yeah.
relationships.
Yeah, Kevin
And so
pointed
that was
out.
his journey. Exactly. I love just from the get-go on that video essay, you analyze the title, how the title pops up,
Yeah.
Cast Away. And that was what was happening throughout that entire movie. There was things getting cast away.
Yeah.
It's just so perceptive of you. It was
Yeah.
super entertaining and
I enjoyed that.
thought-provoking. Go ahead, John. Did you have a question? I'm sorry.
No, I
Okay.
just wanted to raise my hand and say, I recognize the fact that Castaway really had multiple meanings. And I remember walking out of the
I
movie
didn't.
with my wife, and I'm like, I'm a word guy, right?
Yeah.
What do you call me, Dr. Diction?
Yeah.
And the fact that Castaway, there you go. That's the book.
Your book.
Initially you think he's a castaway like Gilligan's Island,
Yeah.
but the fact that like his family kind of gave up on him and cast him away. I mean, it's just
Kevin, I loved your Dumb and Dumber video essay too. And I'm like, you gave me, I loved that movie, and it does stand the test of time. And you did a good job of sort of, why are we even analyzing Dumb and Dumber? But it's true. I don't know how old it is, and it's still being talked about and referenced. I think about it. It stood the test of time, and you found deeper meaning right from the get-go with that street sign at the beginning, and hilarious.
I didn't see that one.
it's kind of a blessing and a curse for me because I watch movies and suddenly I'm like Dumb and Dumber, like there's nothing in there. It's just, a bunch of gags and just 2 stupid guys. But then I'm like, oh, actually there's some deep meaning here. And that's why it resonates. I think like movies can be funny and they can entertain us, and that's great. But I think the reason that they stick with us, that they resonate, and that we remember it, decades later, is because there's something more under the surface.
Can I also say that
Like Dumb and Dumber.
as silly as that movie is, that's one of my favorites of all time too. And I think maybe there's some weight to it because Jeff Daniels is an amazing actor.
Yeah.
And I think he brought that out in Jim Carrey. Their friendship is real. And I haven't seen Kevin's essay about it, but I can't wait to watch it because I could imagine there's some real friendship connection that those guys have for each other.
You'll be amazed
I'm gonna
at
love it,
what
yeah.
he uncovers
I can't
in
wait.
Dumb and Dumber. It's hilarious. So, Kevin, did you ever see Whiplash? About the drummer?
I've not seen Whiplash.
Okay.
No, sorry.
There's a great scene in there. Speaking of college, there's this great first date scene, and it's super tender. You're just like rooting for this couple. The problem is he screws up because he's so maniacal about his drumming. But it did lead me to ask you, because when you brought up the question about, I said, have you ever turned anyone off with your gift of movie analysis? And tell us about your story.
Okay. Yeah. So I had to learn the hard way to not just tell everybody what everything means to me. Um,
Yeah.
when I was in college, a girl asked me out on a date and took me to a movie, which is not a good idea. And and it was a movie it was The Mummy, and for some reason I was not enjoying it. And so at the end of the movie, I was very nice and tore it all apart.
Oh no.
And told her why it was such a bad movie and everything that was wrong with it. And she was just like, yeah, I thought it was good. And so that was our last date.
Yeah.
And so I learned to not do that. And
That's
so
super funny.
My wife's, when we're talking about going deep, my wife says that I scuba dive and she water skis.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
So I try to hold back my thoughts. So that's actually why I do this YouTube channel, is because I can unleash on the YouTube channel when nobody else around me wants to hear it. So I just put it on there, and then people that want to hear it can find it. So
Real quick, do you have children?
I do, yes.
How old are your kids, may I ask?
The youngest one is 10, and the eldest one is 21.
So do you like pick movies like to watch as a family because you're looking for them to get a message, or for you to show off about how bright you are when it comes to these things? But what is the family,
what does the family watch?
moving?
Any together?
Usually they tell me what we're going to watch. They don't really want to see my stuff. And I'll say, hey, I made a video about that. And they're like, that's great,
Dad.
And then we'll watch their thing. So occasionally I've been pleasantly surprised by something that they picked out.
I'm going to share a quick story about The Mummy that relates to Kevin's. When we were a young family with Trent. Trent was about 10 or so, right around that age. And he was dying to see The Mummy, and he wanted to watch it. So we rented it and we watched it. And Jennifer and I right away looked at each other like, because it's kind of a thin movie. It's a cool movie to look at, but there's not much there. And this is how we were as a family. We watched it, and it ended, and Trent goes, sorry about that.
Oh, did he really?
So yeah, Kevin, I'm right with you. We're all in the same boat. Like it looked cool, but it doesn't really hold up.
Yeah. And he said sorry about that
because he was pushing. Isn't that funny?
I love that guy.
Isn't that funny?
That's great. Kevin, what do you do professionally? Just curious.
I work at the local university. I do video editing and media design for online courses.
Oh, perfect.
So you kind of
it's something different.
But you're in the film. That seems like you're sort of in that film space. Video editing. And what university are you at?
It's called Utah Tech here in St. George.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've always tried to have one foot in the film industry somehow or other. For a while, I ran an old 1940s movie theater and learned how to load a film projector and run those old projectors. And so I've never really been like the director or whatever of movies, but I've always been sort of attached to them in one way or another.
One of the things is we always seem to have a Seinfeld reference.
Oh, yeah.
And do you remember the movie theater that Kramer, do you remember that
he
one?
He ran the movie theater. He ran the concessions or something, right?
Yeah, and the hot dog that had been in there. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's my Seinfeld reference.
Yeah.
So,
anyway.
Kevin, tell us a little about your product here. In
Project,
addition to
yes.
your project, you're offering the haunted house exit plan. Give us the story behind that.
Well, as I said before, I had a lot of fears growing up. I was very scared of a lot of irrational things. And so in addition to my trying to understand movies, I was also trying to understand myself and why I was scared of things. And so I've thought a lot about fear as well. And so the haunted house exit plan is just kind of the things that I've come up with. I like to think of myself or of people kind of as a haunted house. So that's why I call it haunted house exit plan. And like a haunted house, our minds can become kind of filled with dark hallways and locked doors and worst case scenarios. And so in my course, it's about 30 videos or so.
Oh, cool.
Of me rambling, but I use examples from movies and real life, and my course helps us identify what's actually true I talk about how fear is actually a good thing if we use it right, but we often don't use it right, and how we have the power to choose and to break free from these situations. And so a lot of times I like to use the example from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, where, if you're familiar with that movie, it ends with some people trying to escape from a house in a convertible car with the soft material roof, and there's killer birds everywhere around them, and you think that they're about to be attacked, and this is going to be the big final action scene, and then the movie just ends. There's no more film in the canister, and it's over. And so the suspense continues on. And I think Alfred Hitchcock was trying to do that. He was trying to make it so that nothing was resolved and you left feeling suspense. And I think in our lives, we often don't resolve things. We have traumatic experiences or arguments or whatever, and we don't resolve it. It just kind of builds up in us. And so the Haunted House Exit Plan is what I've kind of come up with that works for me, to be able to sort of purge myself of these locked doors and old shadows and things that are inside myself. So, yeah.
So this is a product, an offering that we can purchase. Like, is it a subscription, or how does it work? Tell us a little bit more about because here's why. Oh, there we go. The Haunted House Exit Plan.
So if you're watching our YouTube channel, you can get the tiny URL link to Kevin's new product. And if you use the code kindness, you'll get a 30% off.
Ooh.
Kevin, do you have anything to add to that?
No, it's just a one-time $27 course. And then, of course, if you use the coupon, it's even less than that.
Yeah, get it down to $18. That's a deal.
This is like, Kevin, you're creating something new here. I think this is cinema therapy.
I know.
Right?
Once again, the guy's a psychologist.
It's kind of therapy through film. So, it's how you've made sense of your world, and you're helping all of us do the same. It's really cool.
Yes, I just
my weird brain.
Yeah.
So.
I just have to. So, bringing my professional life into this, last week, I had a tour of Allina Hospital System has up at Mercy, which is one of their hospitals, this really amazing, robust program that is about people dealing with anxiety, depression, and right now we live in a world where, to me, that is the greatest scourge on society. It's the mental health,
especially young people.
100%.
Yeah.
And, the irrational fears that people have about things. I mean, I know a bunch of young people that are consumed with these irrational fears. And if you can find, so you're using movies as a vehicle for helping them recognize, am I understanding this right?
Yeah, it's instead of me analyzing movies, I'm kind of using what I've learned from movies to help us analyze ourselves.
That is a brilliant plan.
Because it's visual, it's a template of understanding, a reference point that we all would get.
Well, and that's the other thing is as a person who doesn't like to read, the fact that this is something that I can watch.
Yeah, you like different modalities other than writing and reading. You like to watch and listen.
Yeah.
There I got to sneak in the word modalities again.
There we go.
The guy,
wow, we got big words today.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk. We're going to have a meeting after the show.
Modality.
But no, I really appreciate, for starters, I want to thank you for being on with us today. But the fact that, I always love when there's an opportunity for us to engage with the things that our people bring us, the people that we have on our shows. Kevin, we often have different nonprofit organizations that are doing just amazing things in the community. And, I think this is the first time that, there's been something that is more of a self-help and, an opportunity
kindness
for
to yourself.
Kindness
under
to
that
yourself.
term.
Exactly.
Under that theme, yeah.
So the way I look at it, and Kevin, we're going to conclude this with the story of the mysterious book. So get ready. But here's my interpretation that Kevin slayed these dragons that he had as a kid Maybe it was even just being frustrated about the move away from California, or, not being in that environment, but then just having some fears that he dealt with. And he shared with me the books, all the studying he's done, the learning. He's essentially a wizard. He's basically Gandalf or Yoda now, because he's mastered the Jedi program of him for himself. And now he's helping others by creating a great offering. So Kevin, if you want to add to that, that's my interpretation. And it's been great for me to watch your video essays. I've gotten a lot out of them. They've made me more self-aware, and I've thought more about things that are important to me and what I value. But share with us that mysterious book story.
Okay, yeah. So this is where I go from sounding like a normal person to sounding like a crazy person. But it
we
kind
work
of fits
with
in
Jeff.
with
We're used to that.
It kind of fits in with the Field of Dreams idea of doing something that you feel inspired to do. But I'm not sure how far back on the story to go. But I went with my wife to a convention thing where they had a whole bunch of booths and tables. And one of my fears that I've had is facing salespeople. And so I decided to try to overcome my fear by going around to every table and talking to every person and signing up for anything that they asked me to sign up for. So I did that. And
Wow.
eventually, I mean, I had to go back and delete a whole bunch of emails eventually, but it helped me overcome my fear. But what I need to get to is, so one of the people that I met, he called me up and said I had won something, of course. And it was like a session with him as like a counselor or therapist. And in there, we talked about one of my things is that I feel like I always need permission from somebody else to do stuff. Like for some reason, I value everybody else's opinions over mine. And so I have a hard time doing something unless I have like permission to do it. So that's another one of my quirks. But anyway, at the end of this meeting with this counselor guy, he said, I feel like in the next week or two, the thing that you need to help you with that is going to materialize in your life. And that was kind of a bold statement for him. But I think what surprised me more was that I responded by saying, I already know what it is. And he was surprised. He was like, oh, well, what is it? I said, it's a book. And he's like, oh, what book? And I was like, I have no idea, but I know exactly where it is, because in my mind, I had seen a certain thrift store. And in that thrift store, it was like I was kind of like zooming through the thrift store, and I could see a certain section where they had the books, a certain aisle, the third shelf up, and the very last book on this row. And I knew that there was a book there that was for me to help me overcome my need for getting permission all the time. And so I told the guy that, and he was like, all right, good luck. And I left there and drove straight to this thrift store. And as I was walking through the thrift store, I was thinking, this is either going to be really weird or really disappointing. And so I got there, and the last book was kind of tucked in. I couldn't actually see it. But I after a moment of hesitation, I pulled it out and I laughed, because the book was, I have it right here. It's The Book of Useless Information.
Oh,
and it's
honest to God.
Thousands of things you didn't think you needed to know and probably don't. And so I keep this book in my closet, and sometimes I pull it out and I'm like, this is my permission to do anything that I feel like is a good thing.
That's
The Book of Useless Information.
Isn't that a great story?
Well, it's a great story, and I got to be honest. At about halfway through the story, I thought, yeah, he does kind of sound like a crazy person.
but it's like Kung Fu Panda.
Totally.
He finds the thing, and there's nothing. It's just he's facing himself, and you're facing reality. It's like you are responsible for figuring out your own thing, but it's like a cosmic joke to you to find that book. It's beautiful. It's poetic. It's great.
God. And Jeff's back there playing
you.
music. You got to focus on cleaning your house out that you're selling instead of all this time playing with your little gadgets
We're
back
working
there.
on it.
Anyway, Kevin, it has been a delight to have you on. Do you have anything else, Jeff?
I think we're good. This has been super fun, and thanks so much, Kevin.
Go check out his
Thank you,
website.
guys.
Go check out
It's Meaning on the Screen. on YouTube. Meeting
Yeah.
on the Screen. Kevin Harris, he hosts it.
It's
And
great. There's
check
so many
out-
great episodes.
Yep. And then his
Thank you,
Haunted
guys.
House Exit Plan, new product. We'll make sure the URL's on the channel. But so great to have you, Kevin. Hope maybe we can have you back sometime to go deep on another movie.
I want to get that useless information book. That sounds like a good one.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you. Off we
Take
go.
care.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, guys.
For your weekly dose of positive propaganda, subscribe on YouTube and wherever fine podcasts are found.